Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to lesson 6-6, Make Sense and Persevere. Now we're finishing up our chapter on multi-step problems. So let's go ahead and take a look at our short video lesson, and then we're going to jump into our guided practice and our notes.
How do you make sense of a multi-step problem and persevere in solving it?
Let's find out.
Brian and Alex have to buy their own instruments for the band. Alex made $1,025 from a fundraiser. He has a part-time job that pays $8 an hour. How many hours does Alex need to work to have enough money to buy his instrument? Think, what do you need to do to solve this problem? I need to determine how much Alex's tuba costs and how much Alex needs to earn to buy the tuba. Think, how can I make sense of and solve this problem? I can identify the quantities given, understand how the quantities are related, choose and implement an appropriate strategy, check to be sure my work and answer make sense. What are some of the things you can do to persevere in solving this problem? You can do things like draw pictures, find the hidden questions, and write equations to answer the hidden questions and the original question. You need to find how many hours Alex needs to work to make enough money to buy his tuba. What do you need to know to find how many hours Alex needs to work? You need to know how much money Alex needs to earn. What do you need to know to find how much money Alex needs to earn? You need to know how much the tuba costs, so you can subtract how much Alex earned with the fundraiser.
So let's take a look at the information that we have. We know that his tuba costs 9 times as much as the trumpet. So in order to figure out the cost of the tuba, we need to do 9 times the 159, which is the cost of the trumpet. Now, after we figure out the total cost of his tuba, we're going to subtract off the amount that he made in the fundraiser, which was the $1,025. After we subtract that amount, we know how much more he still needs to earn in order to buy his tuba. Now, we know from the question that he has a job that pays him $8 an hour. So using this information, we'll be able to figure out how many hours he's going to need to work in order to have enough money.
Here's my thinking. Use the cost of the trumpet to find the cost of the tuba. How can you find how much the tuba costs? Multiply 9 times the cost of Brian's trumpet. $159 times 9 equals $1,431. Alex's tuba costs $1,431. Next, find how much more money Alex needs to earn. What operation can you use to find this?
Select your answer.
Now remember, we have the total cost of the tuba right now, and we have how much he already raised from the fundraiser. So I need to find the difference between those two amounts in order to figure out how much more he needs. And to find the difference, we're going to be using subtraction.
Subtract the amount Alex already made from the cost of the tuba. $1,431 minus $1,025 equals $406. Alex needs to earn $406. Now you can find how many hours Alex needs to work. How can you find this? Divide $406 by 8. $406 divided by 8 equals 50 remainder 6. Alex needs to work 51 hours. Why does Alex need to work 51 hours instead of 50 hours?
Now, we need to pay close attention here because he needs to make a certain amount of money. So 50 hours is not going to give him enough money in order to to make the difference for the cost of the tuba. He needs all $406. So 400 divided by 8 would give you 50, but $400 isn't enough. He needs $406, so he needs to work that extra hour to be able to have enough money to buy his tuba.
At the end of 50 hours, Alex will only have $400, and he needs $406. Now you know how to make sense of a multi-step problem with hidden questions and persevere in solving it.
All right, let's get into our notes and our lesson. Now we know that there are a lot of things we can do to help us make sense of a multi-step problem. We can identify the quantities given, which basically is a fancy way of saying is figure out the numbers that are in your question and what they mean, and figure out your hidden questions. Then you need to understand how those quantities are related. So what do those numbers have to do with each other? Then choose and implement an appropriate strategy, which means pick a way to solve the problem and try it out. Then check to make sure that your work and answers make sense. So go back, check your work to make sure you did it correctly. Now we're going to take a look at that same problem, except we're looking at it on paper, so we're going to be able to show the annotations. They each have to buy their own instruments. For the band, Alex made $1,025 from a fundraiser. I circled that. He has a part-time job that pays $8 an hour. I circled that as well. These are important pieces of information. The question is asking me, how many hours does Alex need to work to have enough money to buy his instruments? So I took the information that I had. I knew in the picture it showed me that Brian's trumpet was $159 and Alex's tuba was 9 times the cost of the trumpet. That's the information that I know so far. I know that he has $1,025 saved up from the fundraiser, and I know he also has a job that he can work at to earn the extra money. So what's my hidden question? My hidden question is, how much does his tuba cost? So T is going to be the cost of his tuba, because I can't figure out how much more money he needs if I don't know the price. So T is going to equal 159, which is the cost of the trumpet, times 9, which is what they told me in the question, that it's 9 times as much. When I multiply those numbers, I found out that T, the cost of his tuba, is equal to $1,431. So that was my first part. I answered my hidden question. My second part is to find out how much more money he needs. So I'm going to take the cost of the tuba, which we found out was $1,431. I'm going to subtract the amount that he already had from the fundraiser to figure out how much money he still needs. So 1,431 minus the 1,025 he already had gave me $406. Next, I need to find out how many hours he needs to work to earn $406. So I'm going to take those $406 and I'm going to divide them into $8 an hour to figure out how many hours he's working. So I found out that he needs to work, that 406 divided by 8 is equal to 50 remainder 6. So H is equal to 50 remainder 6. Now 50 hours alone, we found out isn't enough to cover the cost of Alex's tuba. So Alex is going to need to work 51 hours to have enough money to buy it. This way you're able to see all of the steps that we took, the information that we knew, the annotations. I numbered them off for you guys on the side to be able to walk you through how to make sense of multi-step problems and how to persevere and push through in solving them, especially when they look a little bit confusing. Now, our first guided practice question says, suppose Alex wants to know how many weeks it would take him to work those 51 hours. Now, if he works 3 hours a day and works 4 days a week, that's the information that we have. Our first question says, what are you asked to find out and what are the hidden questions? So I need to find out how many weeks it's going to take him to work 51 hours. And my hidden question is, how many hours does he work each week, or how many days does he need to work? Number 2 says write and solve equations to solve the problem and tell what each variable means. So I'm going to let D equal the number of days he needs to work. So D is equal to 51 hours divided by 3, because he works 3 hours a day, which equals 17. So he needs to work 17 days. Then I'm going to let W equal the number of weeks that he needs to work. So he needs to work 17 days divided by the 4 days a week that he works, because remember, our question over here tells us that he works 3 hours a day and 4 days a week. So now we figured out he needs to work a total of 17 days. If he divides those into groups of 4, he's going to end up with 4 remainder 1. Now, 4 weeks alone isn't going to be enough money for him to get enough money for his tuba. So he needs to work 5 weeks to make at least those 51 hours worth of work in order to earn enough money to buy his tuba. And number 3, does your answer make sense? Explain. So I said my answer makes sense because 4 weeks isn't enough hours. He will need to work a 5th week to have enough hours and money for his instrument. That takes us to the end of this lesson. Remember, the guided practice questions on this lesson are really nice because they break it up for you into the different steps that you need to do. You're identifying the information that you have, you're finding your hidden questions, you're writing your equations and identifying your variables, you're picking a strategy to solve, and you're defending your answer. You're explaining why your answer makes sense. This takes us to the end of lesson 6-6 and the end of topic 6. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.